So the system then can't be reformed, and if that's the case, and you know it is, then what to do? What to do? Well, the first thing that we can do is take a look at what the Republicans did last night, what they tried to do. They tried to murder 45,000 Americans. Calculatedly kill them. Every single Republican is guilty of a conspiracy of attempted mass murder last night. When they attempted, and it's 2 or 3 efforts before that, when they attempted to, their stinking little compromise had to do with denying or postponing the Affordable Care Act for a year. 45,000 people condemned to death because of these stinking goddamn Republicans. 45,000. Now, let me give you a news flash, Mr. or Miss Right-Winger who's listening to this program. If there is a member of your family who does not have health insurance, there's a 40% chance that last night the Republicans attempted to condemn him or her to death. And you're going to vote for him again, aren't you, you idiot? Of course you are. And that's why the system is not reformable, truth seeker. Because no matter what capitalist, corporate, right-wing, neo-fascist, sick Christian America tries to do to these poor, miserable slugs, they will continue to vote them into office. Why? Well, first of all, because Obama is not a Christian. Secondly, he's not an American citizen. And third, or maybe first, he's, not like us. This is so pathetic to watch. I spent some time last night watching C-SPAN during the commercial breaks of the program, and this morning, and what I saw was just gagging. Republican House member after ghoulish-looking Republican House member took their 2 minutes in the well of the House and blabbed on about how what they did last night, those damn Democrats, is despicable. They shut down the government because they wouldn't compromise with the Republicans. Whew. I'm not surprised to hear that, because when you are complicit in a massive attempt at murdering 45,000 of your fellow citizens, you're going to get up in the morning and say whatever garbage comes spewing out of your mouth in order to cover up what you tried to do. Now, you right-wing bloggers who listen to this program, God damn it, get this down. Get this out to your brain-dead readers. Malloy says that Boner and his cohorts, including Eric Cantor, tried to murder 45,000 Americans last night by postponing the Affordable Care Act for a year. You are guilty, you sons of bitches in the Republican Party, in the U.S. House, of attempted mass murder. Every one of you should be tried, convicted, and jailed for the rest of your lives. Obama, as weak a leader as he is, as inarticulate as he is when he has to stand up there and really explain something. I'm not talking about selling something. He's the best goddamn salesman in the world. But he can't explain anything. Obama tried to make overhaul of this health industrial complex his top domestic policy priority. But from the very beginning, these right-wing dogs, filth, I shouldn't say dogs. I mean, I have a dog. I like dogs. These right-wing pukes, especially in talk radio, have spent 3 years putting out lies, distortions, half-truths, to the extent that Americans have no idea what the Affordable Care Act is about. So these filthy, stinking Republicans, especially people like Michelle Bachmann and Sarah Palin, scum, liars, deceivers, have spent all this time misleading and confusing the American public. Remember, it's a $2.5 trillion industry, $2.5 trillion annually industry. That's what we're up against. This is what we're up against. The distortion from Drudge to Beck to Limbaugh to Hannity. On and on and on. 3.5 years of lies, deceit, half-truths, misinformation. And that's why we are where we are today. The critics have lied. The insurance and healthcare industries fought tooth and nail about certain parts of the plan. The sons of bitches absolutely refused. And then in the middle of it, we have a guy who can't sell. Obama. Oh, he gives great policy speeches. But he can't explain, he can't sell, he can't close the deal. His attitude during this entire 3.5 years has been, well, you know, I'll put it out there, and then, you know, the Congress, you decide what to do, and the American public, I'll rely on you to get educated. Oh, for Christ's sake. Are you kidding me? No. I don't know what it was about Obama that made him think that he was dealing with 330 million rational people. Oh, well. Now, the Harvard study was funded by a federal research grant. It was released by Physicians for a National Health Program, a group that favors single-payer health insurance. Single payer. Not this Affordable Care Act, but single payer. But they were tasked with finding out the effects of a lack of health care availability on those 50 million Americans who do not have health insurance. And the results, their epidemiological studies, 45,000 people die due to lack of health insurance in this country every year. And that number, by the way, 45 to 50 million people without health insurance, is a fluctuating number. It varies because people no longer have job security in this country. It goes up, it goes down, but the steady motion, the net effect is it constantly goes up. It's approaching 50 million. It stutter, stammer. It's just frightening to me the extent to which, or the depth to which right-wingers will go, whether they're religious or political, to get their lies out there, to distort the truth in order to prevent people from having health insurance. My God. A recent study released by the Kaiser Family Foundation revealed that only 37% of Americans have a favorable view of the Affordable Care Act. That's down from 50% when the law was passed in 2010. %40 of Americans hold an unfavorable view of the Affordable Care Act. 23% had no opinion. I love those no opinion freaks, no matter what the survey is, right? Now, how could it be that only 37% of Americans have a favorable view of the Affordable Care Act, when it was 50% when the law was passed in 2010. How could that be? What happened? The Affordable Care Act was not in effect, so it's not based on empirical evidence. It's not based on experience. What's it based on? Despite being the first successful attempt at expanding health care coverage since 1965, since Medicare, it's pretty clear at this point that the American public was not sold on Obamacare. And in addition to not being sold by the person whose name has been attached to this program, he didn't make an attempt to sell it. Oh, he's come out a couple of times and listed some of the expected benefits, but that's not the same as explaining the impact that 50 million people without health insurance has on the economy of this country. He didn't explain it. He didn't make clear to the dunderheads out here. He doesn't talk in the kind of half-witted language that is necessary, the kind of language that Limbaugh and Beck and the rest of these freaks use. They know who their audience is. Obama just never figured out that his audience was being lied to 24/7, coast to coast, border to border, across the fruited plain by every single right-wing half-wit that had a microphone or a camera. And so what? Once every 6 months or so, Obama would come out and say, now listen, yada yada. And despite this opposition to Obamacare as a whole, people overwhelmingly support a lot of the individual components of the law, like prohibiting insurance companies from denying coverage for pre-existing conditions. America supports that. We also support the extension of dependent coverage. Your kid can't get a job, can't do this, can't do that. Well, he or she can stay on your policy until they're 26 years of age. The Kaiser Family Foundation poll also shows that some of the major provisions of the law enjoy tremendous bipartisan support. 71% of respondents supported Medicaid expansion. How many Republican-controlled states gave the middle finger to that and said, oh, no, even though it wouldn't have cost them a damn dime? 80% of people supported the new health insurance exchanges and closing the Medicare so-called donut hole for prescription drugs. And a whopping 88% of people in favor of health insurance tax credits to small businesses. So those components of the Affordable Care Act were all well received. But then, you see, that's not what was talked about. That's what Obama should have talked about. In the meantime, the right-wingers in this country were talking about death panels. The Kaiser poll showed that an alarming 40% of respondents believed the patently false claim that Obamacare would establish government death panels to make end-of-life health care decisions. Oh, for Christ's sake. 47% of people believe that the law would expand coverage to undocumented immigrants. 44% thought the law would cut benefits for Medicare patients. And 57% believed that the law contained a public option. All of that was totally not true. But that's what the stinking, filthy, murderous Republicans did. They went to work. They understand their audience a hell of a lot better than Barack Obama does. And they ground down on this for 3.5 years with the lies and the distortions. What do all these misconceptions, these lies, what do they all have in common? Well, represent a victory of sorts for opponents to the Affordable Care Act. Going back to the 2012 election season, remember the lies and distortions about death panels and billions of dollars of cuts to Medicare beneficiaries? And the lies are being accepted as fact. Who said that? Well, of course. It was Joseph Goebbels. Of course, this is another page right out of the Nazi playbook. Tell the big lie. Tell it often enough. Propagandize your people with it. And eventually it becomes truth. The system cannot be reformed. I hope you understand that. Now, whatever that means to you may mean nothing. But the idea that this was the final move of these conspiring to murder 45,000 people, Republicans, is a misconception. This was not the final move. This is not the death of the Republican Party. This was the opening shot. And from this point on, it's going to get much worse. Let me suggest something to you. Fasten your seatbelts. I'll see you tomorrow night. Take care. Keep it lit. I'm Mike Malloy.